Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Fahmi dari kelas TB5E. Di sini saya akan mempresentasikan hasil final project saya untuk mata kuliah statistik dengan membuat study case dua jenis, yaitu eksperimental dan konvensional. Untuk yang eksperimental saya memilih judul The Effect of Daily 20 Minutes Mindfulness Meditation on Perceived Stress Levels Among University Students During Final Examination Period. Oke, untuk resource kontaknya. University students often experience high level of stress during final examination periods, which can negatively impact their academic performance and mental well-being. While various stress reduction techniques exist, mindfulness meditation has gained attention for its potential benefits. This experimental study investigates whether a structured daily mindfulness meditation interventions can effectively reduce perceived stress levels compared to a neutral control activity. Penelitian pertama berfokus pada kesejahteraan mental mahasiswa, kesehatan mental mahasiswa atau mental health di masa ujian yang sekarang mungkin sedang tren disoroti di sosial media ataupun di media-media lain. Sedangkan penelitian kedua menyoroti gaya hidup digital pada orang dewasa bekerja yang akan saya bahas nanti. Yang problem design. Research problemnya adalah, is there a significant difference in perceived stress level between university students who practice daily 20-minute mindfulness meditations? Experimental group. I divide into two groups. Experimental group for this first, and those who engage in a daily 20 minutes natural listening activity. Control group. During the final examination periods, research problemnya adalah apakah ada perbedaan signifikan pada tingkat stres antara kelompok yang melakukan meditasi harian dengan kelompok kontrol yang hanya melakukan aktivitas mendengarkan netral. Yang variabelnya independent variabelnya itu bentuk intervention, mindfulness meditation versus neutral listening activity, dan untuk yang kedua dependent variable perceived stress scale PSS 10 scores. Yang scale of measurement perceived stress scale PSS 10 score 0 until 40 interval scale. The PSS 10 measures the degree of which these situations in one's life are appraised as stressful. It is classified as interval because the differences between scores are meaningful and equal, but a score of 0 does not indicate the complete absence of stress perception. Next, for research hypothesis, the null hypothesis is there is no significant difference in perceived stress levels between students who practice daily mindfulness meditation and those who engage in natural listening activities. Untuk yang null hypothesisnya menyatakan tidak ada perbedaan, sementara untuk yang alternative hypothesis, there is a significant difference in perceived stress level between students who practice daily mindfulness meditation and those who engage in natural listening activities. Menyatakan terdapat perbedaan signifikan. And that is for my data. I divide into two groups, experimental group and control group. And the data frequency is 10 for each group. Total for data is 20. And next is statistical analysis. Why I choose Mann-Whitney U-test instead of using parametric test with normality testing? To compare the distribution of two independent groups to determine if there is a statistically significant difference between them. Karena data saya yang saya tunjukkan tadi adalah data yang relatif kecil, yaitu dengan 10 frekuensinya 10 setiap grup, jadi tidak kurang pas, mungkin kurang pas untuk menggunakan tes normality. Saya memilih Mann-Whitney test karena sampel saya yang relatif kecil tadi. Itu yang, nah ini requirement, the data must be at least ordinal scale, the group must be independent. Unlike parametric test, this doesn't require normal distribution assumption. Justification with a small sample size, nih, n equal 10 per group, total n 20. The Mann-Whitney test is more appropriate than the independent t-test. Non-parametric tests are more robust on and reliable for small samples, as they do not depend on the assumption of normality, which is difficult to verify with limited data point. Nah, ini step by step procedures. For first procedure is state hypothesis, like I told before. Null hypothesis is there is no significance and blah blah blah. And the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference in perceived stress level between students who practice daily mindfulness meditation and those who engage in neutral listening activities. Kemudian adalah descriptive statistics. Yang meditation group jumlah datanya ada 10. Untuk yang min dari meditation group yaitu 25,50. 25.50 for median is same like mean, and standard deviation is I assume is 3, maybe 3. With dengan komanya, sorry. Secara deskriptif, kelompok meditasi memiliki rata-rata skor stres 25,50, jauh lebih rendah dibanding kelompok kontrol di angka jauh lebih rendah dibanding kelompok kontrol di angka 34,90. Dan untuk min rank kelompok meditasi adalah 5,50, sedangkan kontrolnya 15,50. Hasil uji menunjukkan nilai Mann-Whitney. Sorry. The descriptive analysis reveals that the meditation group experienced lower stress level compared to the control group with a mean difference of 9.40 points on the PSS-10 scale, but groups show relatively similar variability in score, standard deviation 3. And for next step is Mann-Whitney test. The mean rank comparison saw a dramatic difference between groups. The meditation group's mean rank is 5.50, is substantially lower than the control group's mean rank is 15.50, indicating that meditation participant consistently report lower stress level. Hasil uji menunjukkan nilai Mann-Whitney adalah 0. Hasil uji menunjukkan nilai Mann-Whitney U adalah 0.00 dengan nilai Z min 3,781. Asymptotic significance to tail menunjukkan P lebih kecil dari 0.001. For conclusion is because the P value is far below 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. Kesimpulannya, intervensi meditasi 20 menit sehari secara signifikan efektif menunjukkan tingkat stres mahasiswa selama masa ujian. There is a statistically significant difference in perceived stress level between the meditation group and the control group. The meditation group demonstrates significantly lower stress level, and the score is this. Compared to the control group, the extremely low p-value and U statistic of 0 indicate this is a robust finding with a very large effect size, suggesting that the 20 minutes daily mindfulness meditation intervention was highly effective in reducing perceived stress during the final examination. Okay, the next study case. Next study case is correlational. I choose the title is the relationship between social media usage time and sleep quality among working adults aged 25 until 40. Research konteksnya adalah with the increasing prevalence of digital technology and social media platforms, concerns have been raised about the impact of excessive screen time on various aspects of health, including sleep quality. Working adults aged 25 until 40 represents a demographic that frequently uses social media for both professional and personal purposes. This study investigates whether there is a significant relationship between daily social media usage time and sleep quality in this population. Studi ini meneliti hubungan antara durasi penggunaan media sosial harian dengan kualitas tidur pada orang dewasa usia 25 sampai 40 tahun. Problem desainnya, is there a significant correlation between daily social media usage time and sleep quality scores among working adults aged 25 until 40? Apakah ada apakah ada korelasi yang signifikan antara penggunaan sosial media harian dengan skor kualitas tidur antara orang yang berumur 25 sampai 40 tahun. Yang variabel X predictor daily social media usage time with minutes scale, and variable Y outcome Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index or PSQI scores. For scale of measurement, variable X ratio scale daily social media usage time measured in minutes. This is ratio because it has a true 0 minutes equal complete absence of social media usage. Dapat disimpulkan bahwa 0 menit berarti tidak menggunakan sosial media sama sekali. Yang Y variable interval scale PSQI scores 0 until 21. It is interval because the differences between scores are meaningful and equal, but a score of 0 doesn't represent perfect sleep quality. And then for research hypothesis for this correlational study design, for null hypothesis, there is no significant correlation between daily social media usage time and sleep quality score. Tidak ada hubungan yang signifikan di antara penggunaan sosial media harian dan kualitas dan skor kualitas tidur. For alternative hypothesis, there is a significant correlation between the train is annoying and disturbing. And the alternative hypothesis, there is a significant correlation between daily social media usage time and sleep quality score. Ada korelasi yang signifikan antara penggunaan harian sosial media dan skor kualitas tidur. And for the data is different with previous study. I use maybe quite large sample with frequency is 50 for each group. And for statistical analysis, I choose Pearson product moment correlation. Why I choose this analysis? Because my sample is quite large, tidak kecil seperti yang eksperimental tadi. Saya menggunakan Pearson product moment dengan harapan datanya bisa terdistribusi total karena jumlah datanya yang cukup besar. Objective to measure the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two continuous variables, and the requirement is both variables must be on an interval or ratio scale, and both should be approximately normally distributed. For the data analysis, step by step is state hypothesis firstly. Like I told before, the hypothesis is same. And the next is descriptive analysis. Data show that participants in this study spend an average of more than 2 hours per day on social media and experience poor sleep quality based on PSQI standard. Data menunjukkan bahwa peserta di studi ini, di penelitian ini, menghabiskan rata-rata waktu kurang lebih 2 jam per hari untuk mereka bermain sosial media, melihat sosial media, dan mengalami kualitas tidur yang buruk menurut PSQI standar. Menurut standar PSQI. For normality test, two normality tests were employed the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, which is generally better suited for large sample. Kolmogorov-Smirnov dengan menggunakan Pearson product moment. Gimana ya? Lebih baik karena menggunakan sampel yang cukup besar dengan sampel 50 per grup tadi, and the Shapiro-Wilk test which is more accurate for small sample. Bisa dibilang sampel 50 ini tidak terlalu besar dan juga bisa dibilang kecil juga bisa. Intinya masih average. Since the sample size here was 50, emphasis was placed on the results of the Shapiro-Wilk test. Social media usage, Shapiro-Wilk statistic 0.974, and the p-value significant is nih 0,322, berarti lebih besar dari 0,05. Nih Mas. And the decision is fail to reject null hypothesis. Data is normally distributed. For PSQI score, use Shapiro-Wilk statistic 0.971, and for p-value significant is 0.244, 0,244, lebih besar dari 0,05. Decision fail to reject null hypothesis, so the data is normally distributed. Both variables meet the normality assumption for Pearson correlation. A p-value is higher than 0.05 for the Shapiro-Wilk test, indicates that there is insufficient statistical evidence to conclude that the data distribution deviates from a normal distribution. Jadi bisa disimpulkan bahwa data dengan sampel 50 tadi menggunakan tes Spearman dan Pearson, data terdistribusi secara normal. Nah, ini. Hasil analisis menunjukkan koefisien korelasi R sama dengan 0,992. Yang berarti data very strong positive correlation, memiliki korelasi hubungan yang very strong berdasarkan koefisien percent correlation yang tertera di layar. The significance p-value is ini. P lebih kecil dari 0.001, tapi yang tertulis di SPSS adalah 0.000. Meaning there is strong evidence to reject the null hypothesis. A p-value provides very strong statistical evidence to reject the null hypothesis, no correlation. The probability of obtaining this correlation by chance, if there is actually no relationship in the population, is less than 0.1%. So, fourth conclusion is the study provides strong statistical evidence of a significant association between social media usage and poor sleep quality in working adults. Penelitian ini menyediakan statistikal yang kuat terhadap asosiasi yang signifikan di antara penggunaan sosial media dan kualitas tidur yang buruk terhadap partisipan yang berusia 25 sampai 40 tahun. While the correlation is remarkably strong with A is 0.9092, the design prevents causal conclusion. The findings strongly suggest these variables are meaningfully connected, either because social media use harm sleep, because poor sleep leads to more social media use, or because underlying factors influence both. Regardless of direction, the strength of association indicates this relationship, wherein serious attention in both personal habits and further research. Sebagai konklusinya, semakin lama seseorang menghabiskan waktu di media sosial, semakin tinggi skor PSQI mereka, yang berarti kualitas tidur mereka semakin buruk dan sebaliknya. Namun perlu dicatat bahwa korelasi ini tidak membuktikan sebab akibat. Correlation doesn't prove equal causation. Finding ini memberikan peringatan penting untuk kita semua agar lebih bijak dalam mengatur waktu layar demi kesehatan tidur. Oke, that's all from my final project. That's all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.